Well, yeah, certainly. I mean, it was our fault. We made a mistake. Spotter said it was clear. It wasn't clear, and, I didn't want to tear my car up, tear his car up either. I respect everybody, and I demand respect. And, I apologized to the guy when he came over the car, explained to him what happened, and then he took it to another level when he started calling me an idiot and whatever else. And I don't appreciate that. I'm not going to take it. I told him how I felt. I called him out. He didn't show. And so I'm good with it if he's good with it, but I'm not going to be disrespected by no means.
Yeah, I guess I had a dinner date at Applebee's last night that I didn't find out until it was too late. It's a shame. Love their riblets and boneless wings, but...
All right, folks, welcome back to Meet Me at Applebee's, your #1 unrefined motorsports podcast. It's Brian here with Rob and Ashley, and we have Richmond and Knoxville as the big topics of the week, amongst all sorts of other bullshit. Folks, how we doing this week?
Hang on one second, I'm grabbing a beer. I'm doing pretty good. I went to the dentist today, and I thought I was going to have to cancel the show for a little bit because my mouth was so numb, and I was nervous that I wouldn't be able to talk, and I would have a speech impediment. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but for me it's a problem because you have a hard time understanding me to begin with. But doing good. Also, just real quick before we see how True Love's doing, I got to give a shout out to myself. I beat the dentist office record for the oldest guy with first-time cavities. That's right, 42 years old, folks.
Wow.
They are not going to put a plaque up on the wall like I asked. But
well, you did get some Novocaine Zen pouches out of it.
I did, yeah. I don't know when the last time you went to the dentist. True Love and I were talking about this, but Brian, I don't know if you had cavities recently, but they stuff these little pouches into your lip. Mm-hmm. It's literally like a fat zone or a Zen. Mm-hmm. And they stuffed them up there. And instinctively, you're not supposed to lick these things. And immediately I just chucked those fuckers as far up into my lip as possible, and my tongue just went numb, and I was like, oh, fuck. And that's when I texted you guys. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this tonight. But we're here. Everything's good. I'm feeling great.
You sound fine. So
yeah. I'm feeling good. A little headache, but that's okay. How about you, True Love? How you doing? How are your teeth?
My teeth are fine. Here at Applebee's with me, ready to eat some shrimp, I guess.
Yeah. I'll be sticking to artichoke dip tonight. Apparently, I'm only supposed to eat soft stuff for the next day or two, but that's okay. They got you covered here. Teeth or no teeth, Applebee's is your place.
Yep. Just glad to be here with y'all on Kyle Busch Day.
That's right. It is Kyle Busch Day.
2018. And speaking of not being able to understand, I learned last week, re-listening to the episode, glancing at the captions that the Spotify automatically does, that when I say the words Kyle Busch, AI thinks I'm saying the word Kyle Busch.
Kyle Busch.
Cowbusch. So.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's fair.
Kyle Busch.
From their perspective.
What is a cow bush, though?
I don't know. I'm not a farm guy, so I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, well, any farmers out there, let us know if that's a real thing, and if not.
Yeah.
But yes, happy Kyle Busch Day to all those who observe.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's see here. We got to start with technically Friday, but really Saturday, the truck race. What are the pre-race notes before we get on to what actually happened, because it was chaos?
My pre-race notes were mainly just, there were some notable names that were trying to get in the race. Casey Klein, SVG, Connor Hall, Christopher Bell, Elliott Sadler, and Corey Heim. And then they had...
and Destiny Spurlock. She made it in, but yeah.
She made it in. Then they qualified, and Casey Klein failed to qualify, even though he was fifth fastest at practice. But we did get an SVG oval pole, which was pretty awesome.
Yeah, that was surprising.
Elliott Sadler out-qualified Frankie Muniz, and Hermie Sadler returned as well as a pit reporter for this race.
Nice.
Yes. But yes, sadly, that's kind of where the fun of Friday ended, because obviously the race got rained out, and not just rained out, it was like catastrophe at the racetrack. Apparently, I don't know if it was lightning or something, but there were transformers on fire, and
the
like
Fox
the
broadcast
monitors,
or MRN was offline.
yeah, like just all sorts of bullshit was happening at the track. So, and it didn't even necessarily start out as rain. It started out as a bunch of lightning holds, and then it became rain. And then when all this shit started happening in the booth, like they're just like, all right, we're just calling it. So they moved it to Saturday, which was fine, I guess. You know, it's a day race, which they don't really do too often these days at Richmond. But the race itself was like not that great. Like, this is one of the handful of weekends where I can say, you know, a lot of times, you know, either the truck race or the O'Reilly race is better than the Cup race, especially at short tracks. But I don't know how you guys felt, but it was pretty boring to me. Like, I think there was only, like 1 or 2 natural cautions, and Caden Honeycutt led almost every lap, I feel like. Like, I was kind of, it was also the middle of the day, and I was kind of in and out and not, like, watching it, you know, the whole time. Like, I was kind of listening to some of it and then watching some of it. And, you know, good on Caden Honeycutt. You know, he needed a win like this. But also, we didn't mention Christopher Bell. Apparently, he had some sort of other engagements he had to do, I'm assuming Cup Series stuff, and he pulled out, and Leland Honeyman took his spot in the truck. But yeah,
quite the step up.
But yeah, I don't know. What did you guys think?
I mean, I don't really have any notes from this race. All my notes pertain to Taylor Hamlin sung the national anthem, and the internet had opinions about 13-year-old, and that kid that climbed the flag stand during the rain delay, too.
Yes, Richmond is healing, apparently.
But yeah, the race itself, there was only that one caution for Stuart Friesen wrecking. Yeah. And Caden led 225 out of 250 laps. So.
Didn't Dynasty Spurlock get a black flag for being under speed and then got a pit road speeding penalty coming in?
I missed that, but that would not surprise me because she was having a rough day.
Yeah. Also, shout out to be fair, I didn't watch a second of this race. I was on my way back from Claremont. And when I got back, the Hard Knocks program from Knoxville, or whatever the fuck they renamed it to, the Friday qualifiers, which also got rained out, not to get ahead of ourselves. I was busy watching that. But shout out to everybody who was there. Andy Newsom and his whole gang, of course, in the house. Friend of the program, Josh Davis, was in attendance. All the usual characters. Most of these folks have been mentioned on the show before. And they look like they had a great time watching the trucks.
Nice. Yep.
We're not watching the trucks. And I don't think it was any of them that climbed the flag stand, but it very well could have been.
Could have been. I feel like I didn't see any photo evidence of this, but apparently it happened. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really have any notes. Frankie Muniz was 3 laps down, blocking the leaders with 3 to go.
Cool.
Tristan McKee finished 8th, SVG 4th, Parker Eatman 16th.
Never heard of him. Just new name to me, for sure.
Yeah, I think this might have been his first race, maybe. A late model kid. And Sadler finished 4 laps down in 32nd.
Love to see it.
After his son Wyatt skipped a huge karting race that morning as he's going for the championship in it. To see his dad race one last time.
Yeah. Yeah, boy, did he.
Yeah.
I don't even remember hearing his name mentioned once throughout the entire time.
Either.
I forgot he was even in it.
Yeah, I feel like they interviewed him before, and then that was it. It was kind of weird seeing a gray-headed Elliott Sadler.
Yeah, he's either a lot of time has passed and more time than I thought since he last drove any sort of race car, or he's aged rapidly in the past few years. But it's probably a combination of the two.
Yeah. Ty Majeski clinches his chase spot, so there's 6 locked in and 4 spots left. And I know last week we had said that we thought all 3 series were racing at Daytona, but I looked, and trucks are not racing at Daytona. Their cutoff race is actually this weekend at New Hampshire.
Oh.
So
How about that?
It'll also be the last race that Cup drivers can do. And then they are off after that for like a month until Bristol. Also, Corey Haim is still 14th in points, so...
Wow.
I don't know if he's racing this weekend, but...
He might ought to think about it.
Yeah. That's all I got.
Cool. That's your truck rundown. Now on to Sunday. I already forgot who was on the pole for this race. So somebody have to
Ryan
Blaney.
Oh, that's right. So what are the pre-race notes, True Love? Since you're the one who always watches that stuff.
Well, not so much pre-race notes as in pre-race news, I guess, but they did that nice little Hamlin family seat dedication at the track for his dad, which I thought was really nice.
Yeah.
I also saw a post where I guess Texas Pete was doing a big activation at the race, and they had all kinds of Texas Pete food for sale at the track, but I was really intrigued by this Texas Pete orange lemonade that they were selling in a giant clear bottle that looked like a fire extinguisher. So
I don't necessarily love drinks with a little spice to them, but I probably would have tried that.
Yeah.
Because orange lemonade sounds good, maybe with a little kick to it. Be interesting.
I think they also had Texas Pete chicken sandwiches, barbecue chicken tater tots, and spicy tenders, and spicy churro basket. So, all the Texas Pete things. Also, this race, we had Austin Hill in a Morgan & Morgan KFB tribute car. Before the race, we also learned that Austin Cindric has hair now. Which,
He does.
Really activate the internet.
Like a chia pet.
He looks, to me, he looks almost younger with it, if that makes sense.
He looks less like Blippi.
Definitely looks less like Blippi,
it is
for
a
sure.
step in the right direction.
Maybe that's why he grew it out.
It's like the idea of Roger Penske sitting him down and be like, look, we can't have two guys that look like this on the team. One of you has to grow your hair out, and we all know who it's going to be. It's going to be Austin.
Yeah. This was a sold-out race, so back-to-back sold-out races. And my last pre-race note is, I know I just talked about Taylor Hamlin and how we shouldn't talk shit about children, but I would like to talk shit about this child who gave the command.
You didn't say anything about her national anthem on Saturday.
I thought she did great for a 13-year-old.
Yeah, she was fine.
Piece of shit people on the internet saying things who are not fans of his dad.
Yeah.
Her voice was fine. I think she messed up one line, but I mean, for a little kid. Yeah, I mean, she did fine.
All you fuckers out there complaining about the anthem, I'd like to see you get up there and sing one of the hardest songs imaginable to perform. Content aside.
I don't know if it's the hardest song to perform.
Have you ever sung the national anthem? Because I have.
No, I can't say.
No, it's deceivingly hard with all the rising and falling, and you run through a lot of random notes that you wouldn't expect to, and then just doing it by yourself. But yeah, just because you don't like a driver, this is a blanket DARF of the week. Additional penalty. Our DARF of the week is not these people talking shit about her, but just keep these drivers' kids out of your fucking mouths.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, don't be that. Don't be like that.
I'm still going to talk shit about this kid.
Anyway.
Every fucking race that they have that is sponsored by Cookout, the Cookout son, child, this Rue Reeves kid gets to give the command every time. And it was cute, like, the first handful of times, but this kid's on, like, race 57 of giving the command, and it's so clear that he doesn't give a shit anymore. So, I don't know. Let's stop letting this Nepo Cookout baby.
Fucking Buster Bluth up there.
Give the command. Those are my pre-race notes.
I mean, we talk shit about Max Reeves all the time. He's not much older, so
Yeah.
I think that's appropriate.
Yeah.
The race itself, I
This
mean,
is
I
a good
thought it was,
assessment right here. 400 laps of watching green flag pit stops.
I mean, yeah, that's not totally unfair, but
No.
I didn't think it was a horrible race. It was kind of like Wilkesboro in the sense that, like, yeah, I mean, it's an old school feel. There's a lot of strategy going on. Cars were able to pass, but yeah, there wasn't a lot of beating and banging. You know, Logano, I mean, obviously was pretty strong all day. Chase Briscoe was surprisingly strong, especially since he had a pretty shitty track record there prior to this weekend. Really, all the Penske cars were good all day. Blaney finished 13th, but I think that was mainly because of, I don't know if he got caught in that one caution they had that kind of trapped a couple cars a lap down, or just
The one
weird strategy.
the one that helped Reddick out.
Yeah,
I think it was. Yeah.
but I mean, he was the outlier. All 4 Hendrick cars got in the top 10, which is first time that's happened in a long time. You know, I thought it was fine. You know, go ahead.
I was just going to say it was the first time they've done that since April 2025 at Talladega.
Oh wow. Okay. Well, that's
Yeah.
surprising.
A
But
little bit of a rough patch for a team that has all their drivers in the playoffs, but
well, no, Bowman is not in the playoffs.
oh, that's right. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
he's not going to work there for much longer anyway. So
Yeah, that's true. I came into this weekend expecting either Blaney or Logano or potentially Hamlin winning, so I wasn't wrong there. And you know, all 3 of them did pretty well all day. Austin Dillon did not. I mean, he was in the top 20 all day, but you know, after winning the last 2, and again, last year he won it clean, was not really a factor all day. Priest was kind of in and out of the top 10, but he ended up getting top 15, 16 finish out of it. Gibbs got caught with a speeding penalty, and that tracked him a lap down. He never was able to get out of that spot. I expected him to do better, but you know, it is what it is. But I don't know. I enjoyed the race. Again, it wasn't the most exciting race in the world, but there's enough going on throughout the race that you know, if you're one of us nerds that really pay attention to strategy and shit like that, then, you know, it wasn't bad.
yeah, I mean, it was kind of an additional version of what we've seen for the past 4 races. Guys were able to pass a little easier here. It didn't seem like there was as much aero wake or interference with these guys on Saturday night as there has been previously. Obviously, the size of the track might have something to do with that and the speeds, but yeah, shout out to Goodyear for consistently bringing okay tires, I guess, even though they last fucking forever. They seem to do their job, and we saw varying strategies and all that good stuff. And yeah, I agree with you. It's not for everybody, but to call that a bad race, I think would be a stretch. And it's about as good as you're going to see on a short track, or NASCAR's version of short tracks, that is, with what we got now. I will say that this is the one night in my history of being a Kyle Larson fan where I was just willing that car to fucking explode all night. From the starting 30th, I'm just like, let's get. And we'll talk about Knoxville in a second here, but obviously Kyle Larson was the talk of the weekend there. Not just because it looked like he wasn't going to be there for the A-Main on Saturday night because of the Cup race, but also because he was probably the fastest car of the entire weekend and had already won about $50,000 for Paul Silva leading into this.
Yep.
And now here he is running around fucking 30th in a shit box.
But as mentioned on Door Rumper Clear, when he got the note from Cliff that Knoxville was raining and he had a good chance of making it.
Perked right the fuck up.
Perked up and started speeding up and, you know, made his way up to the top 10. So
yeah, 30th to 6th. Anyone saying he's washed, that's not easy to do. And shout out to Cliff and those guys for keeping a car underneath him all night too and making the adjustments. That's more what we're used to seeing, not this 35th place bullshit we've been sitting through for the past month and a half. But Yeah, very, very happy to see that. Also, shout out to Chase Briscoe. He had a good race.
Yeah.
He had a great race. I feel like I'm forgetting somebody else who had a good one. But I don't know.
Let me look at the top 10 here, the finishers, and see who we're forgetting, because I feel like I'm forgetting
Josh
somebody
Berry.
too.
Yes.
Yeah, Josh Berry. That's right. Well, yeah, he was the fourth Penske car. I did mention they all did fairly well. So yeah, 2 straight top 10s for him, as he's searching for some sort of ride for next year.
Speaking of which, I saw somebody on the internet, and again, you can take this with the biggest grain of kosher salt you can find, that RCR might be looking at him instead of
I think
Austin
even.
Hill.
Yeah, I saw that a couple places, and well, I mean, if Austin, well, do you mean in place of Austin Hill and Cup, or
In place of Austin Hill and Cup is what I had seen, which I don't. But either way, I think Josh would be a fine addition.
I mean, he'd be good in either series for RCR. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I hope something pans out for him, because I like him and he's good, but he doesn't bring money like a lot of guys do, so that's always been his problem with his career. So
At this point, I'd argue that it's probably a better chance that Josh Berry's not going to match the car number with his finishing position every week, running at RCR, which, for those of you, Austin Hill's number's 33. That's usually about where he ends up. But I guess Josh Berry hasn't done much better this year either, so I don't fucking know. At least he's won a race.
Last couple of weeks.
Yeah. Driving like a guy who wants to keep his job.
yep.
Yeah, fucking Joey Logano, man.
Well, before we even get to Logano, we got to talk about Hocevar.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
He was just not having a good race the entire time, and
He was
He-
a lap down and 32nd in stage 1, so.
yeah, and it's. I don't think he rage quit, but maybe some people think that. So
I think that.
it's an expensive way to rage quit.
Doesn't matter. Either way, he got home about an hour earlier than he would have, so a merciful ending to the night, whether it was by his own hand or, well, it was definitely by his own hand, but whether it was intentional or not. And actually, that's kind of what I was getting at when I brought up Larson at first, but my mind went off track there. There was a moment where Hocevar almost wrecked Larson. And the two of you were asking me how I would have felt, and I think it was you, Trula, who framed it as a true Sophie's Choice question.
That was me.
That was you, yeah.
Yeah.
And I'll say it today, just like I said in the moment, I would have sent Carson an edible arrangement and thanked him personally for doing it, just to get Kyle out of there. But fortunately, it didn't come to that, and we got to see the Joey Logano win we all deserve.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Logano has annoyed me less this year, and the fact that, he really, unlike his past championship runs, if he really wants to have a shot at it, he's got to fucking race his ass off after having a bad first half of the year.
Yeah.
I have a little more respect for him.
It would be quite
Yeah,
ironic if the very point system that he was bitching about, and also he was championing the original playoff system as they were switching from this, because his championships came from that format. It'd be amazing if he came in and used the exact same strategy that he always did previously, just wait until almost the end of the year to decide to get good, and then just cruising his way into a championship. I think it'd be pretty funny if he was able to do that this year.
It would certainly be the ultimate fuck you to all of his detractors.
Yeah, absolutely.
No matter what you think of him, it would certainly, shut a lot of people up. So.
I mean, a month ago, we would not even thought about considering Logano as someone who might have something for the title this year. But over these past few weeks, I mean, he's clawed his way up to 9th in points. He's ahead of Kyle Larson in the points, or he was before this race. Maybe Larson got some points out of this one. I don't know where they landed after this week, but
no, he's behind. I mean, Joey jumped up to 8th, so I think
Jesus.
Larson's 10th. Well, he won 2 races. I mean, he had 20 points above second place Chase Briscoe, who also did almost as good as him in all the stages. So
exactly, yeah. And this is just it's a prime example of why I think it's what the original playoff system always meant to do by putting emphasis on wins. It's exactly the same here. It's just a better, more fair outcome.
Yeah.
And you're seeing the fruits of this, right? I think Joey Logano is probably the perfect example. People were talking about Tyler Reddick and Denny Hamlin for the beginning of the year, and how Reddick falling off a cliff really screwed him. But I think Logano's rise through the points is really the story if you want to talk about how important wins are now. And I mean, there's a good chance he'll go out and win fucking Loudon this weekend. Like we're getting into Penske territory on the schedule here, so it's good news for all the 22 fans, and for the rest of us. I don't know. Do Logano fans shave their heads like fans do for playoff beards? They grow it out, you know?
The only Logano fan I know is a woman. I don't think she does that.
Well, the bald thing is new, so maybe we can get that started. Shave it off for Logano. We'll work on the hashtag.
Shave it for Logano.
Shave it for Logano. Oh, man. I will not be shaving it for Logano.
So yeah, now I guess that wraps up the race talks. Now we got to get into Fantasy League, which it was a decent weekend for all of us.
Mm-hmm. Yes. But before you talk about Fantasy League, I did want to talk about one more thing that happened during the race. Mm-hmm. Apparently, the screens at the track showed some trivia questions to the fans during the race, and the one that got circulated was asking which driver pooped themselves on this day in 2004. So that's great.
And the answer is Tony Stewart, everybody.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, Fantasy League.
Yeah, Fantasy League. Sorry. Distracted by Tony Stewart shitting himself. Yeah, so our big winner this week from Richmond was Astro Prone. That's 2 weeks in a row. Had a tie for second place with Chris Davis and Bailey Weinkoff. Rob 8th, Brian 11th, and 15th for me. So
okay, so not good for you. I apologize.
No. Yeah. So that shakes up things a little bit overall in the standings. Chris Davis bumps up to the lead now. Bailey Weinkoff, who was not even in the top 3, is now up to second. And Flavortown McLeod drops 2 spots to third.
Yeah, I feel bad for him because he forgot to set his lineup. His lineup was decent from the week before, but he forgot. Obviously, he didn't get any of the bonus picks.
Yeah,
so,
folks, those bonus picks, they will fuck you if you do not make them.
Brian dropped a spot to 4th, and me and Rob are still the same in 6th and 11th. So.
Yeah, Chris Davis opening up, that's a problem. I mean, thankfully, we're going to get a reset soon, but...
Well, I don't know about thankfully, because that means he gets all of his guys back, too.
Yeah.
Well, we all get our guys back, but, I mean, now I'm 65 out of the lead. So, again, it's still close, but...
Yeah.
The top, now it's the top. Now Bailey's back in it, so now it's the 4 of us as opposed to the 3 of us, so...
I'm slowly reeling in little Michael. One of Andy Newsom's buddies here. We both have American flag helmets selected as our avatars, so Clash of the Titans here for 5th place. I'm coming for you, big man. Come on, let's go.
Well, this isn't technically part of the... Well, it is and it isn't part of the septic tank, but we got to go into Knoxville afterwards.
Yeah, well, we're going to come in here real quick. We can, just for a few minutes here, the Knoxville Nationals were not supposed to be part of the NASCAR storyline this weekend, other than a couple talking points about Larson being a competitor in both and not being able to make one of them. Obviously, his Cup commitments come first, so it looked like at the beginning of the week that Kyle Larson would not be on the property for the 65th Knoxville Nationals, which was a shame for everybody. But on Saturday night, as the race was progressing, and Brian, I think you did mention this, over in Knoxville, they had been hit with rain all week, and the whole schedule had been kind of messed up. I mean, Wednesday and Thursday did go off relatively on schedule. The Hard Knocks night on Friday, which is a qualifying night, that got completely rained out and pushed to Saturday. We'll kind of unpack why people are mad about that in a little bit here. And Larson, of course, had locked in to the pole for the Knoxville Nationals by winning on Thursday night. Incredible performance, went from 8th to 1st. Paul Silla brought a hot rod to Knoxville, and I think Kyle would have been the favorite to win this race if he was going to be there. And on Saturday night, it really appeared like he wasn't going to be. But the rains in between the qualifying portion, which we'll go through the results in a little bit here, and the start of the mains at night, it rained again, and it kept raining, and it kept raining. And then it would fog a little bit. And then,
are we going to totally fucking skip Wednesday?
No, we're going to talk about Wednesday here.
Okay.
I just want to tie the NASCAR thing until we start talking about sprint cars.
Okay.
And then, it looked like Larson was going to be able to do it. And actually, let's talk about the prelim nights before we start talking about Saturday as a whole. My weekend was so fucked up. This race ran so late that I'm still trying to recover from it. I'm an old man. Wednesday night, first prelim night, Sammy Swindell says goodbye to the fans by flipping 100 times down the front stretch. That was a shame. Lap one of the first heat, Sammy Swindell's out there. I think, who did he get into? I can't remember, but
I don't remember, but it just reminded me of Bloomquist's last run.
Yeah, it was very similar, and
let's hope Sammy doesn't get in his plane anytime soon.
Yeah, seriously. But yeah, Sammy, this would have been his 50th Knoxville Nationals that he attempted to make. So still got to hit the milestone. Very cool for him to go out there. I don't know how competitive he would have been. He hasn't exactly been in fighting for him the past few times he showed up, but it doesn't matter. The man's a legend. And he did get it honored on Saturday as well, which we'll talk about in a second here. Shane Liebig and the boys really fucked it up for Ryan Timms as they forgot to connect a fuel hose in the back of the car, which caused Ryan Timms to pull in and try and get this thing fixed before the green flew for the A main of the night, which something breaks before the race starts. You don't get any guaranteed time in the pits because you're supposed to be ready already. So these guys were hammering away at this car, trying to get it filled with fuel. And push truck picks him up, and there's still two guys hanging on the back of the sprint car. And some of the most incredible footage that Dirt Vision has ever captured of just this poor dude just trying to jump off the car and absolutely belly flopping into the Knoxville mud, spilling fuel everywhere.
It's so good. So
It's
good.
a face full of gasoline. I watched that clip on repeat.
And one of my favorite things about that clip is that a lot of people didn't get it off the broadcast. It was just them filming their screens because they said, oh God, there's guys riding on this car, just probably taking it to send to people. And as soon as that guy flew off, all the videos I saw on Twitter are the ones that were sent to me, just hearing all these people gut laugh at the exact same time really brightened my night. Also, I didn't really want Ryan Timms to do all that well. Not so much Ryan Timms, but Shane Liebig after being a dickhead in victory lane at the Cappy.
I will say that I know last week I declared my fandom for Ryan Timms. I have retracted my fandom. I'm glad I didn't buy any merch because the next day he walked back his comments on Larson. I was like, well, now you're dead to me. So
because he was fucking wrong.
No, he wasn't.
But yeah, it sucks for Ryan, but that's a little bit of comeuppance there. I didn't want to see Ryan wreck or get the car torn up or anything like that, but something like, something breaking. That's all I wanted. And make him go through Hard Knocks, and then all is good between me and Shane Liebig, a guy who I don't know and never will. But boy, this was so much better. So thanks for the laughs. Once they got the car fueled and hooked back up, they did leave a flashlight on the car as well, so they had to come back in and get that off. Disastrous night for Ryan Timms. That put him definitely on Hard Knocks night, and then when things shook out, when it got rained out, it put him in a far worse position than they had initially anticipated. But this race, I would say Wednesday night's prelim was the race of the week.
Yeah, 100%.
Incredible. Yeah, Jace Park up front. Jace, he's quick, He's a decent driver, but you don't see him in those positions very often.
Well, he's a Knoxville local, right?
He's a Knoxville local, yeah, but on that stage, and so is Ryan Timms, honestly. He races around there a lot and kind of moved there to chase that. But, yeah, Jace is another one of those guys. Knoxville's is essentially his home track, and he's out there in a solid white, unsponsored car, and he's battling with James McFadden for a prelim night win, which is, I think, you get $25,000, something like that, maybe $27,000 for winning that. It'd be a big money night for his team, big money night for Jace, and certainly him planting his flag in the ground on a national stage, racing against J-Mac, who retired and then unretired. Pretty common thing in sprint car racing for these guys to, I got to spend time with the family, and then 6 months later they're back out on tour. But hell of a battle. Sheldon Hodenshield hanging out third place. He's quick, but there's no way he's going to get there.
Yeah, I mean, they said he was coming on the last lap, and you still didn't think he would make it there.
Yeah.
And, the other two are battling for the lead amongst lap cars, and then all of a sudden, fucking at the line, Sheldon comes out of goddamn nowhere on the bottom and just passes him.
He starts the slider in 3 and just hugs the ball. It's not dissimilar to the slider that pissed off Ryan Timms that Kyle Larson attempted, and the same thing that won him at Oski on Monday. Just these really deep and low sliders, and he got 2 for the price of 1 and just wrapped the bottom in a way that not many can. Won the race by 6/1000ths of a second. And shame it was in that ugly-ass, Four Loko-ass looking car. I know a lot of people were fans of that. I thought that thing was ugly as sin, but
I didn't mind it. I love neon pink, so I can't ever hate a car with neon pink on it.
What was the actual sponsor?
NOS.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I really like Sheldon Hodenshield, and I was a fan of his dad too. So definitely cool to see that family name pull off something like that. And man, this kid. He's back on top right now. Watch out for Sheldon. I think he's going to have a hot rest of 2026. Thursday, again, we kind of talked about this a second ago. Kyle Larson picked up the win going from 8th to 1st, locked himself into the pole for Saturday night's feature, which at the time he was not going to be making. So that pissed off a lot of people. What's he even doing here if he can't make the race, blah, blah, blah. And let's be honest, he did win $27,000 to win that feature for his team. And Paul Silva, that's his business, is building sprint cars and racing them. So that's a big payday for him. I'm sure Larson got a little bit off that. And also the off chance that things went Larson's way as far as the weather is concerned. Let's be honest, the forecast for Knoxville all week was dog shit. So there was a good chance that Sunday was a possibility, or very late Saturday night. So, keep your options open. I didn't have a problem with it, not just because I'm a Larson fan. I think if anyone could be that fast, then it's their prerogative to do what they did. And at the very least, at that point, Kyle and Paul still had won about $45,000 to $50,000 for the week, which is that's pretty substantial for a sprint car team. Friday night was a total wash. We kind of already talked about that, but yeah, nothing happened. It sounded like maybe later in the night they could have done some stuff, but I don't know. I don't think that's really the case. Sorry, Trilo, what were you going to say?
I was just going to say that Friday night I was getting updates from Kyle Armstrong and Alex from their trip to Applebee's together.
Yes.
They were sending me shrimp updates, so I appreciate that.
Yep. Alex did the same shift I did at the Chili Bowl with Kyle, but this time at the Knoxville Nationals. Also, the new Simpson trailer. So much nicer than the one I was working out of. So Alex got the King's treatment in a four-wheeler to ride around on when he was out there, and I know those two had a hell of a time. Anytime you see the Simpson trailer out there, I say it every time this comes up, go say hi to Kyle. He's one of the best dudes you're ever going to meet, especially if you're in need of a Hans device. He can get you set up. Yeah, Friday total rain out.
Don't let him get you talking about whatnot, though.
Yeah. Yeah, he's tossed me that bait a couple times, and that's not for me. But let's see here. Yeah, Friday night was great for Dingus across the street. I'm sure the Knoxville PD got there.
Talk about the DUIs and stuff that people were getting.
Oh, we talked about that last week. We were able to.
There was another one on the golf
Yeah, I
cart
thought there were
this
some
week.
this week,
Oh,
too.
yeah.
Wasn't Emerson Maxim's dad?
Oh, that was last week. So many of them and so early that we were able to talk about it on last week's episode. But yeah, Tyler Courtney's brother, he may have operated a golf cart in a way that the Knoxville PD didn't like, and he got to spend the night in the Knoxville PD's version of Best Western. That's a little internet classic for you guys. But, good night for Dingus across the street. No racing going on, so I'm sure they sold all the beer in the county. And Knoxville PD definitely made their quota, along with Taylor Courtney, apparently. But I guess we can talk about that on the show. I don't know. Anyway, on to Saturday. So because Friday got rained out, and Hard Knocks is this system of qualifying, there's points involved, it gives... I guess it's a more equitable way for guys who may be fast to not get stuck in the alphabet soup or the heat system so much. But because the weather forecast was as sketchy on Saturday as it was, and because there were so many cars trying to make the show, they added 4 guys from the previous prelim nights to the A main. So there was 4 guys. I forget exactly who they were. I probably should have looked this up, but there were 4 guys who went to bed hungover from Dingus, thinking they were about to have a long day at Hard Knocks, trying to make their way into the show, and woke up to being surprised that they're now in the Knoxville Nationals. I think it was 4 more drivers got promoted to the B main, the C, etc., and so forth. And it was more of a traditional LCQ type program where everyone already had their position locked in. Ryan Timms probably got the biggest fuck you out of all of this. He went from having an opportunity to just be quick and race himself into a decent position through the Hard Knocks system, which again is tough to make the show anyway, but I think Ryan was fast enough to make it through. But with the program being shortened and cars being taken out and locked into the show, this put him on the pole of the C main on Saturday afternoon, which that's a really tough bunch to make it through right there. I think he made it to 11th in the B, and that was it for Ryan Timms this year. So, but we did get to see Johnny Schatz pick up a win on Saturday afternoon. Not the win he probably would want to have at Knoxville, an LCQ win. But still, very cool to see Donnie in victory lane, so shout out to him and the CJB guys for picking that up. Also, I think the big story coming out of Saturday morning was that hellacious wreck between Gio Scelzi and Brenham Crouch. That was real bad. They kind of got together. I think Gio spun and Brenham just flew into him, and it knocked Brenham Crouch out. And it's such an awful noise. But when he was knocked out and his throttle was just hung wide open, just sitting there on the track, and thank God the rear tires didn't get any traction, because I guess it was broken enough to where that wouldn't happen. But just him sitting there for a few seconds with that motor whining, that's one of the scariest sounds in all of motorsports. I've experienced that at the World Finals. I think it was actually Gio who had a throttle hang. Yeah, he wrecks big. But Garrett, it broke the halo, broke the cage on top of him. That could have been much, much worse than it was. He definitely had some broken bones and was hospitalized, so we're thinking of Brenham Crouch. And Gio ended up being okay, but that was the end of his Knoxville Nationals. But yeah, what a horrifying wreck in a week of some pretty nasty ones. That was probably the most violent of them all. And to beat Anthony Macari's wreck is that's something. So because that one was nasty too. Anyway, on to the big show, the Knoxville Nationals. Again, the rains came, and the mud was a factor all day. I think Donnie Schatz's hauler got hung up on the pass going into the pits, and they had to dig that out because they had to remove all the trailers from the infield and bring all the guys who locked in back down into the infield, which that took several hours. And then the rains came, and Knoxville typically starts around the same time as the Cup race did. And at this point, there's still no chance that Kyle Larson is making it back from Richmond, because the weather looks fucking excellent out there. They're racing. They're going all 400 laps tonight. Who knows what's going to happen out there, but they're getting a full race in. So I think anybody who wanted to see Kyle there and hoped that he would be there, or had any sort of semblance of hope that he'd be on the premises. It was non-existent at that point. But as we started working our way through the Cup race, it became evident that there might be a shot here. And then, as you already mentioned, Brian, Cliff Daniels comes on the radio about halfway through the Cup race and lets him know that, hey, we got a plan together for you. And then Kyle Larson decided to be a race car driver again and got a top 10. So maybe they should surprise him more often.
Just make up dirt races that they tell him that he can go to after the race.
Exactly. There's got to be one happening somewhere. Maybe not with all these Sunday night races we got going on here. But, yeah, at the end of that race, it became very evident that there was a plane waiting at Richmond's airport, ready to go to Knoxville, or Parma, I guess. Was it called Parma? What was the airport? Parma?
I think Parma sounds familiar.
Parma is here in Cleveland, so I don't think it was Parma.
Yeah.
I would have definitely perked up if they mentioned Parma.
No, it was an airport outside of Knoxville. Pella, that's it.
Yeah, there you go.
It's Pella. And thus began Santa Claus Night in America, as every sprint car fan with FlightAware on their phone got Kyle Larson's tail number, and we're tracking it. He actually broke the record for most tracked flight of the night, and one of the most tracked flights of all time.
That doesn't make any sense to me. That seems crazy.
There was about 12,000 people tracking it.
I mean, I knew there were a lot, but to break a record seems wild.
Yeah, but and Kyle was, he got out of his Cup car and just hauled ass. It was him and Cliff Daniels jogging, which you don't see very often. And yeah, he hopped on the plane, and they were showing the Santa tracker up on the screen at Knoxville as they were getting ready, and they still hadn't started hot laps yet. I think about halfway through Larson's plane ride out there, the show did get underway. And he got there just in time for the A-Main. But first, while he was flying there, like I said, Ryan Timms didn't win the C-Main. Made it to 11th in the B, but that's about all he could do. Who won the B-Main, actually? I didn't write that down.
I don't remember.
I don't remember either.
Hold on, just for complete coverage here. I did this when I was in pain this afternoon, so give me a second. Oh, Tyler Courtney. So he picked up enough. I don't know if they pay out for that, but if he did, he definitely got some bail money for his brother. That's good. Tyler Courtney making the show. And then it was time for the A-Main, which was going to be rolling off at about 1:55 in the morning.
I did not make it, so I will say this. Like, I forget how it worked with you guys. I know we were all talking, like, obviously watched the Cup race. We watched Batesville, which we'll get to that, and that was dog shit. And I was like, I'm trying. But,
Yeah.
Saturdays for me, it's like I'm up at 5. I made it to... I got to see Larson get off the plane and get to the track, but I think I passed out by the time they made it to the 4-wide salute. So
yeah, and
that was it for me.
Before we talk about the racing, I just want to talk about how big Knoxville is and how important this is. The pre-race ceremony really drove that home. They brought Sammy Swindell in one of his old cars from the late 80s, early 90s out there. He took his final laps of the track. He gave this really awesome interview on the front stretch. Classic Sammy Swindell.
Yeah.
He basically called Steve Kinser a drunk and then fucked off into the night. It was great.
Yeah, that was really great to see.
And right before that happened, of course, Larson's landing his plane over. Well, he's not landing it, but that'd be sick if he flew himself. But his plane is landing over in Pella, and they've got a Dirt Vision crew down there. And the vibes of the whole night just felt massive. Like, whether you're a Larson fan or not, like it just felt heavy because now the pole sitter's showing up, and like I don't know, it's tough to quantify, and just the fact that he would want to hop out of plane and get there and even try and qualify for the race in the first place. When he knew he might not be able to make it there and probably wouldn't be able to make it there. To me, that just kind of shows you how big the Knoxville Nationals are. And that place is packed to the gills every single year. There's people who've been going for 50 years, 40 years, and they all know each other. And, traditions get passed down from generation to generation there. And it's one of these places that just the the racetrack and the event itself are bigger than any one individual that happens to be participating in it, which I guess you could misread the whole Larson thing as the opposite of that. But
it had a O.J. Simpson police chase vibes.
It did.
They had a drone tracking his SUV.
Yeah, it did. Well, I guess they had nothing else to film, so it was kind of a blessing in disguise for the as they were getting the track prepped. But they started rolling them off. Little bit too heavy on the fireworks, I would say.
I forgot.
Smoke hung around for a little while.
You couldn't see shit.
But at the front of the field was Jason Johnson's Knoxville Nationals winning car. And that hit me right in the center of my chest, seeing that thing out there again. Of course, that was the biggest win in Jason's career and cemented him as a legend in a lot of people's eyes. The greatest victory lane interview of all time. I got the T-shirt. It says, "Shit, I wanted to win" on there. And it was definitely cool to see Carson Macedo out there in the JJR car with the same colors. But yeah, just a heavy event that honors the past and is way bigger than any individual that's running it or that's on the property, but all that feeds together to make this huge thing. And I love Knoxville, and I got to get there, and anyone who's been there will, at least for the Nationals anyway, can tell you that I'm not lying to you. I know Alex all weekend while he was working with Simpson, he'd find himself standing next to somebody or, who did he fucking talk to? Jack Hewitt rolls up and says hi at the Simpson trailer, and there's David Gravel standing right over there. All these people that they're larger than life in their own way, and they're all here for the same reason. And such a special event. But
I will say the Knoxville food leaves something to be desired. I'll say that.
Well, that's what the beers are for, I guess. Which, by the way, I hear they did drop beers to half price during the extensive rain delay. So good.
Oh, well, then that makes up for it.
Yeah. Anyway, on to the A main. Kyle Larson, Sheldon Hodenshield on the front row. Larson in the first half of the race just took off. He had about a 6-second lead. He lapped about 7 or 8 cars. No one really had anything for him at the halfway break. Everyone came in. Paul Silva licked the tire and blew some cigarette smoke on it and sent him back out there. And Kyle Larson wins your 65th Knoxville Nationals winner. I would say that there wasn't much going on, but there really was a lot of great racing happening. Again, shout out to
Casey Kane.
Casey Kane, first of all, that's right. Casey Kane qualified 4th, and he was right behind Larson for a while and seemed like the only guy who might have a shot at him for a little bit in his own car as well. So the KKR program much improved, I guess. I don't know. Fucking Dason didn't make the show, so I don't know what got up Casey's ass to be so fast all weekend. But definitely cool to see that old man out there who hasn't aged a bit in 25 years. In fact, I forget who sent it over. There's a photo of Casey standing next to Kyle Larson at some sprint car event way back in the day. And Kyle Larson is all of 8 years old, and Casey Kane looks identical to what he looks like now. So that's something. But Sheldon Hodenshield did come in second, so shout out to him. That's a big payday for that team. I think there's no question he probably would have won the whole thing if Larson hadn't have made it. I don't think really anyone had much for him, aside from Casey Kane, of course. And shout out to Tanner Holmes. Came from 24th to 11th, which I don't think anyone really saw that coming. He was your hard charger for the night, and a very impressive run for Tanner.
I don't think we should have skipped the fact that there hasn't been a pass for the lead at Knoxville since 2022.
We were going to get to that.
Okay.
We were going to get to that. There has not been a pass for the lead in Knoxville since 2022. That's true. Again, and that's a point of contention that a lot of people had. We're calling this an all-timer. I don't think the race itself was. Situationally, this is going to go down in the Knoxville lore without question. Kyle Larson coming in and dick stomping him for the 4th time. That's a big deal. Not many people have won that many of them. And just the circumstances surrounding it kind of makes it larger than life. And the fact they got the whole show in. Plus Sammy Swindell's last run. There's a lot of stories that make this one special. But the race itself, it's true. There has not been, in 200 laps of sprint car competition in the A main, at the Knoxville Nationals, there has not been a pass for the lead. So, yeah. Funny thing is, people are trying to blame it on dirty air and all that, but then you see Kyle Larson or whoever else is up front being able to rip through lap traffic. I think it's just that little advantage you get until you get there that kind of seals the deal. But again, Kyle Larson's also won several of those races in between then and now, so that might have something to do with it. He's just awesome at Knoxville. And it was nice to see that come to fruition, especially for me being a Kyle Larson fan. I usually don't pull for him in sprint cars because I get tired of seeing him win, but this one I would have been happy with Sheldon.
That's the opposite of me and you. I pull for him in sprint cars. I enjoy watching him in sprint cars.
I love seeing him win, but I also love seeing somebody put him down too. Unless it's David Gravel.
I'm the opposite of both of y'all. I pull for him in nothing. Casey Kane only.
Yeah, Casey Kane only fans. Nope. Casey Kane only fan. That's what I meant to say. However, if there is one, I'll send you the link.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, that was a great race. Our dart for the week did come from Knoxville. Actually, there's two of them this week. One is the main one, and there's an honorable mention. Of course, we mentioned Dingus on Friday night getting crazy, and it sounds to me like this guy complaining on the SprintCarFan.com Facebook page might have had a run-in with the local police. I don't have any details, but I would bet money that this involves pissing on the side of the Caseys after getting drunk. He says, with all the BS the city of Knoxville, Iowa is giving the visitors, don't be surprised a future boycott by fans. City has no respect for the money brought into the city and county by these fans. So this guy definitely got a DUI. So he's already been punished by Knoxville PD.
Yeah.
The honorable mention here, this comes from just a race recap on Facebook. I think World of Outlaws posted this, talking about Kyle Larson dominating. And this comes from Don Newcomb. And the spelling here is kind of half the battle, so we'll have to post this on the Instagram. And I'm also going to, as always, I'm going to read this as transcribed here. What a surprise, LOL. I'm not surprised he started first. So he was probably on his way to an interaction with the Knoxville PD when he wrote that.
Yep. Surprised he could spell his own name right.
Yeah, but also big shout out to True Love. She did manage to stay up till fucking negative 0:30 in the morning to watch this race.
2:45 in the morning. I didn't think I was going to make it, and then I kind of perked up when Sammy did his laps, and then I perked up again when the fireworks put a fog over the whole thing.
Yeah, they had to wait a little bit.
Yeah, and then when Casey jumped from fourth to second straight out of the gate, I was like, all right, I'm invested now. So
yeah, if Casey Kane would have beaten Kyle, see, that's the thing I'm talking about. If we could see Casey Kane beat Kyle Larson, then I'm on your side in that occurrence, because that's killer, because no one saw that coming.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a great event, great night. Also, sorry all you NASCAR fans who found out how expensive Dirt Vision is and how the Knoxville Nationals are not included in the monthly pass. Yeah, that sucks.
I didn't even know that. Thanks, Rob.
Yeah, you got that's an additional pay-per-view, or you got to buy the entire year. But they do run sales for the entire year. You can spend like $250 for the whole year and get all the World of Outlaws and.
Oh, was it part of the yearly subscription that you got?
That's how. Yes, yeah. Or you can buy the pay-per-views separately. That's the only one of the year that Dirt Vision does like that is the Nationals, because that's the biggest event of the year. So yeah, I'm sorry guys. Welcome to short track racing. Shit sucks sometimes, but
well, I mean, listen. If you think Dirt Vision is bad, try being a big block modified fan. We talked about that a couple days ago. It's gonna cost me $100, I think, to watch the fucking Lebanon Valley Syracuse reunion race. I'm not paying that, but that's what it would cost to try to watch that.
Yeah.
So
That's crazy.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's a whole other conversation, unless you got somebody big time like Dirt Vision or Flow behind you or Racing America. Even Racing America is kind of expensive. These things are not cheap affairs to put on. Even the shit we do at Claremont, like the $30 a month for Pit Road TV, is a perfectly reasonable price if you understood what it takes to put that broadcast out into the ether. It's not cheap, and not many of us like this stuff, so you kind of have to pay a premium. And also, I guess all these people probably had illegal streams of WrestleMania and shit back in the 80s and 90s out their neighbor's cable box or whatever. So I guess that's always been the spirit. But yep, get ready to pay if you want to see some of this stuff. Yeah, Knoxville Nationals was a great show. I'm sad it's over. And it's always one of the best events of the year. It's why we always devote a lot of time to it. And fortunately, this year it happened to intersect with NASCAR. But we're still not in the septic tank, folks, so we're going to go ahead and we'll step back out. Everyone form an orderly line, and we'll go back into the Applebee's here. And then we'll continue on with the show, and then we'll wrap up with the actual short track septic tank in just a little bit here.
Yep. So Sunday, obviously, there's no NASCAR or a whole lot going on other than dirt modifieds in weed sport. And also, quick note, Bobby Pierce just won this race that we were watching. Great. IndyCar, yes. IndyCar, they had a race in Canada. What was the track name again?
Markham, Ontario.
Markham. I actually did watch most of this race because, again, I didn't really have a whole lot going on, so might as well throw that on. And the race itself was pretty decent, but
it's fucking good.
the couple days prior to that was a complete shit show.
Yeah, it was a little iffy going into the week. IndyCar team showed up on Friday, and surprise, track's not done yet. Not even close. Still got to put walls up, fences, timing lines. They got to get the TV cables and all the routing sorted, and yeah, not even close. So all on-track activity for Friday was canceled.
It's a great day to be a DARF because drivers were just wandering around signing shit all day.
Yeah. Yeah, Alex Palou was up in the free grandstands hanging out, so good for him. Saturday was more of the same. Still weren't ready. So they canceled all the morning sessions, and it was so bad that IndyCar actually posted for them a strongly worded letter. They used the word disappointed in the opening sentence, which if you know how Roger Penske and his crew operates, that is equal to a death sentence, I think. Once they got a goal, no, it was fucking awesome. Racy little track, pretty badass, except for that dumbass hairpin, which actually provided some of the most entertaining moments of the day. Yeah, shout out to Marcus Ericsson picking up a win there. Romain Grosjean coming in second. I think a lot of people were excited to see that.
Well, he seemed like he was going to win it, and then, I don't know, within 10 laps to go, he lost the lead, and that was it. And I don't know, it's decent. Like I said, I don't watch too many IndyCar races, especially road course ones, but, it was something decent to watch while nothing was going on. I will say I am expecting even worse for this weekend, though, because this weekend is the big DC race, folks. I don't plan on watching because I'll be driving home from New York, but I know it's going to be... I'm hoping it's even worse.
I don't know. It seems like they're ahead of the game a little bit here with some of the walls and shit, because there's photos. But again, we're going to find out. There's no way to hide it come Friday. But it seems like they're a little bit more ahead here, and there's federal dollars involved, which can go either way. So I'm hopeful, but I won't be surprised if it ends up being a shit show as well.
Yeah, I mean, look at everything this administration has done the last couple of years. They're not going to help. So,
yeah, well, I mean, Trump's not going to help build the walls.
Yeah, definitely.
Make Pato do it, but yeah. Also, shout out to the nice people I met at not Peppercorns. Where the fuck did I go for lunch? The Boynton here in Worcester. Decided to go out and get myself a beer and a roast beef sandwich at this restaurant here in town. Sat down at the bar by myself. This older gentleman and his college-age daughter sat right next to me. I was like, okay, cool. And I have the Markham race up on my phone. I leaned up against a bottle of ketchup. And I look over, and they've got the IndyCar timing and scoring app open.
Oh, nice.
And I'm just like, well, that's not an accident. That didn't come with their phone. They had to actually download this. So I leaned over and started talking to him. I was like, hey, you guys IndyCar fans? I was like, yeah, we are. And I was like, well, let me slide the ketchup bottle over here and we can watch together because there's no way they're putting this shit on TV. Ended up being really nice folks. This guy, he's from Springfield, Missouri, not too far away from where my folks live. So we talked about Larry Phillips for a little while, which that was crazy, being in Worcester, Massachusetts, talking about Larry Phillips and how excited we were about him going to the Hall of Fame. He told me stories about going to the F1 race at Caesar's Palace in Las Vegas back in the 80s.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, just an old school fan. So it doesn't happen very often up here to run into people like that. But whatever your names were, hope you had a safe trip back to Missouri. And yeah, hopefully we'll see each other again. Hopefully at a racetrack somewhere.
Nice.
Yeah, it was a wholesome Sunday.
I did see where they are making British driver Louis Foster run a Declaration of Independence scheme.
I like that. Yeah. That will be promptly flung into the inside wall at that place. Fold the suspension up. Yeah. Speaking of IndyCar, it sounds like Yuki Tsunoda might be coming over to play with the Americans. Sounds like he's linked to Meyer Shank Racing, so that would be cool. He was my favorite Red Bull driver of the past probably 10 years, so excited to see him make the jump over here and see what he can do against all of his former competitors since they're all coming to IndyCar.
I was going to say I had no idea what that note was about, so I'm glad you filled me in on that because that is not a name I recognize.
Yeah, he's a badass little Japanese driver. He's literally like 4'11". He's very tiny, but he's super quick, very aggressive. His style might not suit Formula One all that well, especially as a number 2 driver, but I think he'll do just fine in IndyCar if that comes to fruition.
Apparently Racer Magazine shut down immediately. I didn't know that was still a thing, so news to me.
Yep, very sad news. I mean, they put out beautiful print magazines for a long time, and their website was, especially for IndyCar and IMSA, it's kind of the gold standard for coverage if you wanted to know what was happening in the sport. That was official. You went to Racer. I got a bunch of them sitting on the shelf back here. I was a subscriber for many years. And, yeah, really sad to see them go. They've, of course, Marshall Pruitt wrote for them for a long time. And Robin Miller, he had a Miller's Mailbag, was one of my favorite things on the internet and in the magazine. Yeah, sad to see such a huge piece of racing media fall by the wayside here. And yeah, it's just a shame.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Frankie Muniz, he, as always, his Twitter account is just all over the place, between depressing and self-deprecating tweets to bitching about things that you shouldn't bitch about on the internet. And then he decided to tweet an insult to Chevy owners, which he starts off with this statement: "I'm convinced a meaningful portion of the population should permanently be stripped of the right to vote. Anyone who test drives a Chevy, experiences the full disappointment in real time, and still walks in the dealership to buy one has demonstrated judgment so catastrophically broken that the franchise must be revoked on the spot. You felt it, you knew it was a terrible choice, and you chose it anyways. There are simply no words." I mean, I don't disagree necessarily. I mean, he drives for Ford, which isn't really saying a whole lot, but
he won't be driving for Chevy.
He definitely won't be ever driving for Chevy. That's for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. It's just Frankie just lets it all out at any moment he can.
I do appreciate it, but also as a professional race car driver, maybe not the smartest decision to just go scorched earth on one of the 3 people that could hire you to drive race cars. And that Ram free agent seat is not opening up anytime soon.
And nobody wants to drive for Ram anyways. Dodge, if you think Chevy's bad, Dodge is even worse of a shit show. So,
Yeah, I don't think Spire's going to be picking up the phone anytime soon for old Frankie.
No.
Speaking of Chevy drivers.
Inspire, potentially. So the news broke that everybody kind of knew was coming anyways, but Connor Zilisch is signed for the 48 car starting in 2028, which means Corey Day is not driving it, and the internet had a field day with this. I mean, primarily what's under steer. My least favorite person on social media. I will unmask you, motherfucker. I'm coming. He just went on the most unhinged, and he says he's going to do it for weeks, just exposing Hendrick and JRM and all these people that are manipulating NASCAR to make Connor Zilisch a star, which is ridiculous. And, not to say Corey Day, yes, he was probably in line for the ride, but at the same time, like, he's not really ready yet. Like, he's good, but he's not ready for Cup necessarily. At least not to the level that Connor Zilic was when he made that jump.
I don't see anybody bitching about Raja getting screwed either. You know, it's not like he's not in that pipeline
Raja's
as
also
well.
not ready.
I know,
you know, neither one of them are. And Connor, regardless of what's going on this season, you know, he's picked it up the last few weeks. He's had a couple quiet weeks where he had decent finishes and really nothing happened. But Trackhouse has been struggling, and, you know, the kid went from winning, you know, 11 races last year to, you know, again, having a horrible season this year. But he's going to be one of the next top stars of the sport, and it's really no surprise that Hendrick would want to lock him up while they could. And with driving for a failing team like Trackhouse, they need to get their shit together, and nobody's really surprised by this. But yeah, the reaction's been kind of funny from a lot of people on the internet, and I don't know why, because like Corey Day is just not there yet.
Yeah, how could Rick do this?
Yeah.
How could Rick Hendrick hire somebody to drive his race car? Contracts don't mean shit if you got a fucking checkbook as big as his, man. Kind of is what it is.
And if you've been paying attention to the sport for the last, you know, decade, this has happened with all sorts of top prospects where guys get jumped in line and you know, sign with one team on a fucking, you know, prospect deal and then get signed by somebody else. Like, it happens, you know, like, it's just part of the deal.
Yeah, Rick said today that Corey Day will be running for an O'Reilly championship in 2028. So
yeah,
it's where he should be.
Agreed.
I also appreciated the fact that Connor Zilic signed his contract today in the classic HMS uniform, a white button-up shirt and that black fleece.
Yeah, he received his official Hendrick fleece from the private stock. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So
also, Rick Hendrick's phone went off in the middle of that press conference, which was pretty funny. He bitch buttoned his wife, so that was cool. But yeah, we're gonna see. Yeah. We're gonna see what Connor's actually got here. I still have faith in him. I think that this is a good decision. Rick Hendrick's not throwing money at a Cobb. There's no question about that. He hasn't hired a dud yet. I mean, arguably Dale Jr. is the worst we've had.
Motherfucker, Casey Mears. Are you kidding? Like, Casey Mears won one fucking race. One.
Yeah. I wasn't thinking that far back. I mean, in recent history, you know, it could go either way. I mean, even Bowman has whatever his reputation is. He's still won races and done pretty well. So I don't think there's any reason to think Connor is going to be a slouch here. But yeah, Corey's got a future here. They're not spending all that money for no reason.
Yeah.
Also, for our listeners on the show, you'll know what's understeer as Jason from Texas.
Yes.
Who used to be a prominent dart fun here.
Yes.
Until we figured out
same person
who he was.
Now we gotta really figure out who he is.
Yeah. But man, that tear he went on, I glanced at it today and like it was just cracking me up because he was just talking about how they dropped this Zilic news to cover up Larson's accomplishments over the weekend, and he started a Pray for Corey Day hashtag.
I like that.
And then he reached the point where he claimed that Zilic was only given this ride because the sponsor Ally wanted a gay driver. So
I missed.
Did somebody say that Raja was gay too? On Twitter a few weeks ago? Yeah.
I don't know who would have said that. Raj's, that video series he did last year, his girlfriend's in it.
I mean, he's not. He's not. Yeah.
Yeah. Good Lord.
Oh, it's good stuff. But yeah, I don't know. I think Kyle Larson's once he gets his nest egg put together, he's probably tired of flying back and forth to these sprint car races.
Yeah, I predict Larson to be done within the next 5 years, I would say.
Yeah, go have some fun. Come back home, baby. But yeah, and then True Love can be happy. We can all be happy together. And then you get Corey Day instead.
Perfect.
Well, speaking of contracts, somewhat surprising news. Noah Gragson signed an extension with Front Row Motorsports. To me, it seemed like he was all but out of that ride and heading back to, O'Reilly's for Childress or something, but they're keeping him. Again, I love Noah's personality. He's a very funny, interesting dude, and I like him in that sense, but the last few weeks he's been running a little bit better, which is good. But yeah, just a very surprised, especially with you've got somebody like Lane Riggs like ready to go. Mm-hmm. Why you'd keep Noah around is kind of weird, but kind of is what it is. So good for him. You got Andy Jankovic. He's going to be making his O'Reilly's debut at Daytona for RSS Racing, which we're fans of him, so that's cool to see.
Andy Jankowiak, baby. Good shit.
The infamous Poopsicle car now has its own shirt. If you want one of those, I don't, but if you do, it's out there.
I love that car is so long gone, but it keeps living on forever.
It's a pretty it is a car, a sponsored car in NASCAR with the word poop on it.
Yes.
We've had a poop car and we've had a car with a cartoon ass on it this year. So weird going from not putting Slayer on a car a handful of years ago to having those
just
things
poop.
on cars.
Yeah.
Just poop.
Pooping an ass.
Poops and butts.
Speaking of paint schemes, though, this news broke early last week. Ty Gibbs is going to be running a one-off M&M sponsored tribute car for Kyle Busch at Bristol. Very cool. I mean, obviously a handful of us have mixed feelings of Ty running that scheme, but overall the sentiment kind of outweighs that. Very cool thing for M&Ms to come back and do that. And inside the scheme itself, obviously it's going to be the M&Ms colors, but there's going to be photos of Kyle's career, kind of as part of that paint scheme. So very cool moment. And, Kyle had a lot of his greatest moments at Bristol, so it only makes sense to do it there. So regardless of what you think of the driver driving the car, still very, very cool. So that's going to be awesome, and I'm sure it's going to sell a ton of merch. I didn't realize there was a Zone Coffee scheme. I know we talked about Zone Coffee becoming a thing, but
yeah,
Austin
you didn't
Hill's
see
gonna
the
be
post
running.
that I sent?
I must have totally glanced over the fact that there was a car in that post too. I just saw Zone Coffees and I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not gonna buy a Austin Hill shirt, but that's cool. Also, schedule news this week. So it's confirmed that the All-Star race is going back to North Wilkesboro, which is not great, but fine. I mean, I'm sure I feel like they'll probably move that around, and Wilkesboro will get a points race every couple of years, which is fine. Obviously, the IHRA stuff means Rockingham is off the schedule for next year,
officially
which is
announced.
yeah, a huge bummer, but hopefully something good comes of that because Rockingham back on the schedule is good for everyone. And also today, it was not officially reported by NASCAR, but Bianchi reported it, so I consider it official. The Chicago Street Race is not happening next year. They will be back at the Oval, and hopefully I get to actually make it there next year because I plan on it, so that's good.
I will say that with the All-Star announcement at North Wilkesboro, the internet was very upset about that, but in an attempt to pacify us, they are giving us an O'Reilly race there, so
Yes,
that'll be good at least.
That's true. Yeah, that'll be very fun.
That'll be a good show.
I didn't see this because I think the IROC stuff is on its own pay-per-view service or something. I don't know how you watch those races, but Kurt Busch and Jimmy Johnson had a photo finish at Laguna Seca.
Cool.
So that's pretty cool. But Jimmy won that, right?
Kurt won.
Kurt won. Okay, cool.
0.002 seconds. So,
Damn, that's better than Sheldon's win.
It is.
Very cool.
I feel like Kurt probably needed that. So, and they'll be at Washington, D.C. this weekend racing as well, Saturday at 3 p.m. on the Fox One app.
Yes.
Which I will not be downloading. Battle at Berlin happened last week too. this was Cletus's first race there, and
First
surprise,
late model
surprise,
race ever.
Really? I
Yes.
thought he ran late model somewhere else. I didn't realize. Okay, well, surprise, surprise, he wrecked. Shocking.
Multiple times.
Yes. Hocevar was in this. I forget where he finished and who won. I watched a little of this and I got bored with it. I turned Knoxville on.
Hocevar finished third. Tristan McKee won. He beat Bubba Pollard in a late race restart.
There you go.
Kid is fast. I don't like him, but he is
He's
fast.
fast. His name is everywhere lately.
We had an update today in the Greg Biffle robbery of his house. Who wants to give this update? Because I don't have any of that info in front of me.
So they announced today that a guy named Terrell Williams, a 44-year-old gentleman from Stone Mountain, Georgia.
Damn.
Hey, your neighbor.
You know him?
I don't know.
Well, come on. She didn't know the fucking racing teacher was across the street from her, so
Across the
why would she
street
know
from
this
me.
guy?
Maybe she goes to Stone Mountain. I don't know.
But apparently this guy has a history of targeting vacant or unoccupied residences associated with highly publicized homicides or other cases. So
it hasn't worked for him before, and he thought it'd work this time.
I don't
Nice.
know. But they showed a photo of like some SRX medals and some National Guard pins and stuff that they, I guess, found his property. But they said that the investigation still remains active into other people as well, because they said there's a separate part of the case involving, quote, white-collar fraud that spans from California to South Carolina involving Greg Biffle, and they have a person of interest. So I still don't know who that white lady was on the security cameras, because Terrell Williams was not a white lady, so...
Maybe the ex-wife or whoever hired him to help out. She was scoping the place out. Who knows? In completely non-racing news,
Not
although I
true.
guess ZZ
Not true.
Top had some racing association, I should say that.
They did, yeah. Frank Beard passed away today. Of course, he's the drummer of ZZ Top. I love that band. I can sit here
ZZ
and
Top's great.
I can sit here and talk about
my
him all night.
second ever show was ZZ Top and Leonard Skinner when I was 15 years old.
Nice. Yeah, but Frank, legendary drummer, he's got a pocket like none other. But for those of you who are unaware, he did actually have a racing connection. He was a sports car guy, and he'd run a Porsche 911 sponsored by ZZ Top. He ran at Sebring and did the 12 hours there. He also ran the Rolex 24. Did pretty decent, I guess, for a guy who's not a professional. But yeah, a little bit of racing connection there that I don't think a lot of people were aware of. But very sad. Now ZZ Top is just Billy Gibbons and the two techs. So I had a hard time when Dusty passed away and they still toured. And I'm curious to see what old Billy does. But
I had a whole conversation today. Well, I didn't have it, but I mean, it was part of it. But in my Discord server about how ZZ Top in the 80s records like took out Frank's drum tracks and replaced them with like a drum machine, which some of the tracks were from Al Jorgensen, which is very bizarre to me.
they used the drum machine on Eliminator for a lot of that record.
Yeah.
A lot of it seems to be just Billy Gibbons, too. But whatever, that album rips. Afterburner, not
It
so
does.
much. But Eliminator is perfect, and all the records before that are just pure Texas gold. So Godspeed, Frank. See you on the other side. And, yeah, look into his sports car racing career. That car looks pretty bitchin'.
Yep.
Cool. And our final note, we got some very interesting photos from a fan on Instagram from the Indy 500 in the 50s.
Yes, that's right. We always love when you guys send us stuff and contribute. We love when that happens. But this one was particularly cool. This comes from Albert Shivers. He was at a flea market over the weekend and picked up some black and white photos of some garages and of the track and some race cars. Definitely from the 50s, kind of like, looks like post-war. And he reached out saying, hi, and hey, do you guys have any idea what these might be from? And the photos of the track itself, it looks like it could be Indy in that era because there's trees in the infield, the profile of the racetrack. It does appear to be that way, but these garages are unmistakable. These are amazing photographs he found of Indianapolis. I'm not really sure what year, but you should really talk to the IMS Museum. They can tell you everything about these. But thanks for sending these over. These are super cool. I'll probably send him a message and ask if he minds if we post a couple of them. Maybe we can tag the Indy Museum as well to see if they can give us some insight on what these are. But super cool candid shots and just a different time. If you've ever seen these old garages, they don't look like much, but they used them well into the 80s. Some of them burned down at some point as well, and they eventually tore them all down to make way for the garages we all know today. But amazing stuff here, hell of a find. And we encourage you, if you find other cool shit out there in the world, any of you listeners, send it our way. We'd love to talk about it on here because there's so much history and crazy shit out there that's just going to get lost to time. And we only have each other to keep it going. So, yeah, this was awesome. So thanks for sending those over.
Yeah, crazy flea market find.
Yeah, that is absolutely insane.
That was great.
Now we can climb back into the septic tank. Everybody back in.
Well,
Pick a trough.
Yeah, pick a trough. Yep.
we've covered Knoxville, so obviously we're going to start off with late models, and pretty much we're going to start off with the exact opposite of what we talked about last week. Last week's North-South 100. One of the best, I would say the best late model race of the year, best late model race weekend of the year in late models. The Topless 100, unfortunately, was the exact opposite, I would say.
Yeah, man.
It was bad, man. It was bad. I watched both nights, and the prelim night, the first prelim, every fucking 3 laps, cars were getting flat tires. Every 3 laps. The second race wasn't as bad, but it was just almost unwatchable.
Oh, I had it on at the Polish Club, and I turned it off. I was like, we don't need to be showing people this. I'll never get to be able to put this on the TV ever again.
Yeah, Max Blair and RTJ won their prelim nights, but yeah, just so tough to get through. Very much a bummer. And then, the next night was pretty much the same deal. Dan Ebert, a complete rebound for him, from the week prior. He ended up winning the race, which was great. And Josh Rice was one of the handful of guys that seemed like his tires were going to hold out, and he ended up getting a flat with 10 to go, 10 or 11 to go, something like that, and that ruined his night. But, just complete whiplash from the week prior. We obviously love dirt late models. I would argue they're my favorite dirt series this year. But it was tough.
It's
very
a shame.
Tough weekend.
I wish I could say that this was an off year for Batesville, but it's kind of been that way for a long time. And the Topless is for all intents and purposes, a crown jewel event. It's a big one to win. It pays well. But the racing it's just not. It hasn't been that great. The show runs late. And for as late as it runs, it ends up being kind of a freight train oftentimes, or tire issues happen, all sorts of rocks. My theory is that it was built on top of an ancient Dollar General, and all the ghosts are still climbing their way out of there. But legendary racetrack, there's a lot of prestige to it, but this racing product that we see out of there, it's just not great. It's a shame because I want it to be good, because Batesville is actually a place I can get to relatively easily, and I would love to go to this thing. But year after year, I'm reminded of why it's not higher up on my to-do list. It's a shame. I hate to say that, but again, shout out to Dan Ebert, his first late model win ever. I'm pretty sure, definitely his first Lucas win. And that's got to feel pretty good. And I know Mark Richards was really stoked to see one of those new rockets kicking ass out there as well. So, yeah, that was cool. But beyond that, not much to report out of Batesville this weekend, which is a shame. Up north, John McKennedy picked up a last-minute win at the tri-track race at Seekonk. Him and Ron Silk and I think Steven Kopchick were battling at the end there. Or maybe it was Hirschman. I can't remember. This race was not televised at all. It was on Northeast Short Track Network for a while. I was fixing to buy me a subscription just to watch this because I was going to go to this, but then Knoxville started and the beers just tasted too good in my basement, so I decided to hang out here instead of driving all the way through Providence to get there because driving through Providence fucking sucks. But nope, they just don't have streaming at Seekonk anymore after making all that fuss about people taking videos from the grandstands and posting full races and all that. That would actually be the only way you can watch this shit without going to the racetrack now. So smooth move, guys. That's awesome. But shout out to Chop Kennedy for picking up a big win there. That guy's a beast. Back to dirt. Reese Moran, after the Knoxville Nationals, is out of Johnny Herrera's car. My theory is that Johnny found out that Reese is over 18 now, so he's not allowed to drive that car. Pretty cool segment on PBS NewsHour about right-to-race laws that are popping up across the country. The Nashville deal it's going to become a national story, at least in a minor way. Obviously, the news is so wacky these days that it won't get that much traction. But
I saw something today about apparently some of these people who are doing the canvassing for opposing the track are now claiming that they're experiencing violence against them.
Yeah, I'm sure you are. Yeah.
So, but yeah, that video popped up in my YouTube feed, and I didn't get a chance to watch it, but it's on my list. So
yeah, lots of characters for sure. This guy in a Misfits shirt, which is cool.
Yep, about 2 seconds in.
Yeah, pretty decent job, I would say. PBS is pretty good at reporting stuff pretty flat, and that's what they did here. At least the 30 seconds I watched of it. I don't know if this is the whole video or not, but yeah, this is happening nationwide. This happens in your town or at a track near you in your state. Pay attention. We talked about the opposite of this happening in Arkansas a few episodes ago, or maybe it was last season. I can't remember when this happened, but this is popping up a lot these days. And with Greenville Pickens, it's the same way. Obviously, Nashville is the big one that we talk about the most, but all these stories have similar backgrounds. You can kind of guess who's complaining and why, and it's always about real estate at the end of the day. But yeah, keep your eyes peeled and protect your local short tracks. And yeah, interesting to see PBS cover this because it's not something you would necessarily expect them to have their eyes on at this moment. So, any other thoughts on that one, True Love?
Well, I didn't get to watch this. I clicked it right when me and you first got on the clean feed. So I really only got to watch like the first 30 seconds. So I'll have to go back and watch this afterwards.
Same. I just saw that it was on the internet and making the rounds. So everyone check this out.
Yeah.
But yeah, it seems to be pretty even keeled, which is good. Fuck ton of racing coming up this weekend. World of Outlaw late models are at Makokata for the Hawkeye 100. See, I got it right this year. How about that?
Oh, look at you.
Flow Racing Night in America is at Marshalltown right now as we speak. Bobby Pierce has picked up the win there. They'll be at Mason City tomorrow night. And by the way, these races are on Prime, folks. You don't need Flow to watch this one. It's all on Prime. Even tonight's. Probably should have told you that, True Love. Sorry about that.
Oh, what the hell?
But these are on Prime.
Watching this whole time.
And not just this race. There are other races that are on Prime. Pretty heavy week on Amazon Prime streaming, so that's pretty cool. And I'll let you know which ones are as we move forward here. World of Outlaws are going to be at Ogilvy and Jackson Motorplex for the Fent Showdown, which I fucking love that name. High Limit's going to be at Santa Maria, Tulare, and Placerville. That's also going to be on Prime. So that's 3 nights of sprint car racing. Free for you on your television. Well, not free, I guess, but you don't have to have Flow to watch it. USAC's going to be at the Illinois State Fairgrounds for the Bettenhausen 100. That's a good show. You better tune into that one. NASCAR-only Modified Tour at Loudon. I'll actually be on the premises for that one, so come say hi to me if you happen to be up there. That one's also on Prime, folks. Immediately following the truck race on Saturday. Switch on over to Prime and watch the Modified. It's the best show of the weekend. Ryan Preece is on the card, which is pretty cool. He's on the entry list, as is Ryan Newman and all the usual stars and cars. It's going to be a hell of a show. Like I said, this is always the best race of the weekend at Loudon, and I can't wait to be there in person. But again, if you can't make it, watch it on Prime. You don't got to pay any money for it that you haven't already paid. Cars Tours going to be at Anderson, and then at Bowman Gray, we have a couple of events popping up here. We don't talk about Bowman Gray all that much on here. They got their season finale coming up on Saturday, and I believe on Friday night the Kyle Busch Invitational is happening at the stadium. That is a huge Legends Car and Bandolero race in honor of Kyle Busch, so highly recommend tuning in to watch that and maybe extend Kyle Busch Day a little bit further and celebrate Rowdy a little bit here at Bowman Gray, which I guess, did he ever race there? I don't know if Kyle Busch ever raced Bowman Gray. His kid will be, though. I'm pretty sure Brexton's going to be there, so that's a cool deal. And I think there's going to be some nice surprises for that one as well.
He raced in Cup there when they did the All-Star race.
Oh, right. I was thinking like earlier, but yeah, he did race the All-Star race there.
Yeah, I'm sure it's going to be a huge event.
Yes, absolutely, and I'll be watching that one. So, but that's it for the septic tank this week. I actually have the week off from Claremont this week. Pretty much everybody in New Hampshire and New England takes the weekend off because it's hard to compete with Loudon. So, which
that's fair.
Yeah, which, like I said, I'll be up there at least on Saturday. So if you're on the property, holler at me, send us a DM, send me a DM, shoot me a text, whatever. We'll have a beer in the stands and we'll watch them racing together. But that's it for the septic tank this week. At least the segment itself. Once again, we're going to kind of stay in the septic tank for our video of the week as we celebrate at least one of Brian and I's favorite race car drivers.
Yeah, this week's all about T-Mac. We had two videos that were not, one of them wasn't necessarily all about T-Mac, but one of them was, and we'll start off with that one first. And this was kind of just a little chaser to the big video. And it's a lot of AI slop. Not so much the video, but the narration is absolutely like AI. That same voice that does all sorts of commercials and shit. It really focused more on his late model career as opposed to his, modified career, which is how he got started. Obviously, he's the son of Barefoot Bob McCready. He started racing at age 17. He was the 97 Super Dirt Rookie of the Year. They got a clip of him beating Brett Hearn. Then it gets into his late model stuff. He debuted in the late model series in 2003. He was the World of Outlaws Rookie of the Year in 2004. 2006 won both the Chili Bowl and the World 100, which is a big year for him. 2011, this is something I only learned this year. He had a handful of starts for RCR in the Busch Series, but unfortunately, he never really had the funding behind him to keep him in NASCAR, so his NASCAR career was very short-lived. 2009, he had a bad wreck at the Chili Bowl and broke his back. He went back to the late models after that, and that's where his career really flourished. Although this other video we watched, he was still racing modifieds part-time in the 2010s. He became the fourth driver ever to win back-to-back Lucas Oil Lucas Oil Late Model Championships in 2021 and 2022. There's a bunch of different late model footage of him winning different races. He gets into the Rocket 1 car in 2024 after they got rid of Hudson O'Neal. He won his first race in that car at Lernerville in the Firecracker 400. He won a handful of times in that car, but by the end of 2024, he went to the Boom Briggs car, which is where he drives today. This video is kind of goofy. I really just picked it because it was short, and it was just a nice little... I thought it was going to be a nice summation of Tim's career, and it was, but it was just... I don't know. I didn't really love this video. I did think one of the final AI quotes was pretty great. At age 51, the beard's gray, but the aggression is teenaged. that got a laugh out of me. This was goofy. If you haven't watched it, don't waste your time. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what you guys thought of this, but I thought it was pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, the AI shit is always a little frustrating, but it is a nice little introduction to Tim McCready if you don't know anything about him. It's short, too, so you're not punished with an hour-long video of an AI voice reading Wikipedia. But it's a nice little 5 minutes. It's as inoffensive as anything AI-related could get.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, I mean, as someone that doesn't know much about, Tim McCready at all, other than what I learned on the show, I mean, it was a good, quick, general overview. So,
Yeah.
We'll say I've been very distracted because I turned Flow on Prime, and it was some IMCA stock car feature with a car that just said "God is awesome" really huge on the side of it.
Yep.
And then the car pulled off next to the tech shed that says "Don't get DQ'd here," and the tech shed is sponsored by Dairy Queen DQ. So.
Marshalltown, Iowa, folks.
All right, so the second video is I thought when I picked this it was just the full broadcast of the 2010 it's a Utica Rome race. I didn't write it down what the name of the race was. What the hell was the name of the race here?
Victoria 200.
The Victoria 200. I thought this was just a broadcast of the race when I first picked this, but it was actually a show. Kind of reminiscent of This Week on Dirt. It was a show called Trackside Thunder. It was a show hosted by Doug Elkins and Chelsea Miller. Chelsea Miller, very young, shrill voice. Didn't necessarily love hearing her on screen, but she was there.
She did a good job, regardless.
She did fine, but yeah, the voice was a little rough. But they're at the track, and obviously this is not a live broadcast. So the race itself is part of the show, but a lot of it is cut out. 200 lap fucking modified race is not going to be the most exciting thing in the world. No. As much as I love modifieds, 200 laps is, there's plenty you're not going to miss. So I wasn't offended by not watching all 200 laps of this.
I was very confused by massive gaps throughout the race.
Yeah, there were. I mean, we'll get to the actual race. There's some interesting gaps there, but the show itself. I mean, we see interviews with a bunch of different guys. Danny and Ronnie Johnson, Billy Decker, Billy Pouch is in this race, but they have him just going by Bill Pouch, which is interesting.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up. I hadn't seen that before.
Yeah. This was T-Max. He had bleached hair for a long part of his career.
Boy, did he.
So this was his bleached hair era. Brett Hearn is in this, and he says it's going to be a finesse race because the track is incredibly rubbered up. It doesn't even look like a dirt track. One interesting note that I made from the race itself was both big block and small block motors were allowed in this, and a lot of guys ran small blocks in this because less torque, less wheel spin. It would have been better for a track like this, so I thought that was kind of interesting. And also, too, the cars in this race, so, I mean, I'm the big block guy on the show. There were many years where I wasn't really, my prime years of being a big block fan were the 90s, and especially 2010, this was like the prime era of me not paying too much attention to racing. So this point in big block, the cars had these big side panels that almost looked like bat wings or fins on the side of the car, and I don't really love the way they look. Like, you don't really see that anymore. The cars have kind of gone back to a little more sloped, backside of the hood and roof and stuff like that. And I don't love the cars of this era. They just look kind of funny to me. But let's see here. So we get to recaps of the heat races. We see Larry White, who he's another one of my favorites as far as big block guys go, and he must have been a baby here. He wins one of his heats. Stuart Friesen wins a heat. Brett Hearn surprisingly has to run a consi. Next up, we get a blast from the past clip of Utica Rome from 2000. We see Dr. Danny Johnson with a pretty stacked top five. There are a couple commercial breaks in this, and most of them involve either track commercials or commercials for Gates Coal Business Insurance. And every single commercial has like a different family member from this company, talking about their insurance practice, which is weird, but it is what it is. We're back.
Also know that every
Go ahead.
single one of those commercials with these people, none of them are looking directly in the camera. They're all
No.
very clearly looking over to the left, reading the script. So
I just love that text. You and your family are invited into our house. Times New Roman.
We also get a commercial for Oswego Speedway, and they bill themselves as the short track equivalent of Indy. I didn't hit up our friend Stacy because this was the era where her family owned the track, so I should have got her commentary on this commercial, but I failed to do that, so my apologies. We get another race. This is a whole bunch of different race roundups, which I enjoyed this section of the show. First up, we get an All-Star Circuit of Champions sprint car race at Fonda, and they mentioned Jessica Zemkin at this point. She's now Jessica Friesen, but this might have been the era where she was dating Tony Stewart. I don't. Why would I know that timeline off the top of my head? But she was Tony Stewart's girlfriend for a while, and this might have been
this is
that
news
period.
to me.
Oh yeah, there's that's why the Friesens are in that hit Tony Stewart hit.
Yeah, that's why we're watching The Hit in a few weeks.
So
Tubi.
yeah. But also Tyler Walker is in this, which we all know.
The dog.
Tyler Walker's battles with sobriety the last few years, but this was when he was still ripping it out there. And Darren Pittman won that race. He's another sprint car legend. We also saw a clip of Pro Stock winner Shelton Martin doing a backflip in Victory Lane. Mm-hmm. There's an asphalt modified race, and I was shocked to learn that this was actually Albany, Saratoga. I completely forgot there was a very brief period of time. And again, this was 2010, 2011. This was right when the track was really kind of failing, and 2011, the end of 2011, the Lebanon Valley Group bought the track and turned it back to dirt. And I was completely out. Like, I moved to Florida in April of 2010 and was completely out of the loop that they turned this track asphalt for a few years. But we did see a brief clip of Kenny Tremont, which, of course, I love that. And next up, we see a clip of Utica Rome, race won by Pete Taylor. There's a clip of the Eldora Late Model Dream race won by Billy Moyer that year. Can-Am Speedway. Tim Fuller ended up winning that race, which I was surprised. I didn't realize Tim Fuller ran late models. And T-Mac was in there as well. We also see small block modifieds. We see a guy named Zach Aubertine celebrating with Miss Dirt Car 2010. She looked very 2010 in that clip. Grandview Speedway with Craig Van Doren winning. Orange County Speedway, there was an insane wreck where like half the field was like flipping on the front stretch, and Jimmy Phelps won that. Then there's the Race of Champions Asphalt Modifieds, which that's Rob's territory at Spencer Speedway. I don't have anything to say about this, so this is where I'm hoping Rob has some sort of information to
That's
add
a little
here.
more New York modifieds, like ROC kind of stuff. Definitely cool to see this footage, and again, I love this show because it kind of covers everything in that particular region. Pretty cool.
Yeah. And then there's a clip from also the, that same series running at Dunn Tire Raceway Park. From here, we get a Stuart Friesen interview where they try to they ask him about how he got his start in racing, and he pretty much, it's a similar story to a lot of guys. He started in karts, then he went to 3/4 asphalt midgets, then sports modifieds, and now here he is in big blocks, and at this point he's flirting with NASCAR. Doesn't really say anything interesting, but I did find it funny that he drove for a sponsor called Pizza Logs. I don't know what those are. Never heard of Pizza Logs before in my life, but I just thought that was funny.
I'm going to look that up right now.
Yeah, we need to know what that is.
Then we get Consi recaps. They mentioned the track regulars had the advantage here, which makes sense. Danny Varon wins his. Matt Shepard wins the second Consi, and then Brett Hearn wins the third. And that's pretty much all you hear Brett Hearn, which is kind of surprising. I mean, granted, he wasn't the Brett Hearn of the 90s and 2000s at this point, but, he's still Brett Hearn. We get a B-main recap.
I don't like these.
What's that?
These pizza logs. They look gross.
These cylindrical-shaped wraps are packed with a flavorful blend of cheese, pepperoni, and tomato sauce, all wrapped up in a crispy golden brown crust.
It looks like an egg roll with pepperoni and cheese.
It's some upstate New York shit.
I mean, I would eat those, but I don't know if I would classify them as pizza. But
they're pizza logs.
Yeah. Let's see. Back to my notes here. We get a B-main recap with Gary Tompkins winning, and they talk about how you can either, if you win the B-main, you could have taken $1,200 or ditch the money and start the main event, and it's $1,000 to start, so you're only losing $200. And Gary Tompkins decided to enter because he'd won that race last year. Going into the actual race itself, they were concerned about weather, and they were planning on, a lot of the drivers were like racing to lap 100, because then it would have been an official race. We get another commercial break with the Stars and Stripes 100 at Rolling Wheels Raceway, which unfortunately at this point is a lost speedway. Rolling Wheels is a track that I never went to. It's another like western central New York track. It's still there. The property is just kind of sitting in limbo right now. I've only recently actually seen a bunch of people taking tours of it and photos, and obviously it's pretty decrepit, but it'd be great to see that back up and running again. Then we also get a commercial for Smash and Crash Volume 21 from a guy named Thomas Racing Videos, who I guess sold a lot of video compilations and race broadcasts back then. That exact website doesn't work anymore, but if you just Google Thomas Racing Videos, there's like he has a page on a site called Raceflix, and a lot of his stuff is up there now.
Boy, look at those logs.
Jeez,
they're kind of like egg rolls, huh?
Yeah. So now time to the actual race itself. Lap 1, first turn, Brad Alger spins and slows immediately, hitting Danny Johnson. Stuart Friesen and Danny Johnson also have in-car cameras that we'll be seeing clips of throughout the broadcast. Again, the track is incredibly slicked up, very rubbered up, and the drivers are kind of running all over the place on the restarts, which is cool. We see Billy Decker moving through the field. Brett Hearn, he's up to the top 12 after 8 laps. He ends up finishing last. They don't mention what happens to him and why he finished last, but kind of weird to hear that happening after him moving up so quickly. At this point in the race, Bobby Varon, he's the leader, and he's just off by himself, but things start to kind of get more busy as he gets to lap cars. Lap 13, Willie Decker, no relation to Billy Decker, spins off the track for a caution.
Really? No relation. Billy
no relation.
and Willie.
Yeah. I had to Google that, and yeah, there's just no relation. Friesen ends up spinning on lap 17. He comes in the pits just to yell at his crew that he's going to pit on the next caution. Back to action. Matt Shepard's up to third on lap 27, passing Billy Decker. There's another caution at lap 28 for Mickey Gibbs. This is not too dissimilar to the Batesville race we talked about earlier in the show, in the sense that tire wear was a major issue, and there are a lot of drivers getting flat tires throughout this. And this is when Friesen goes and pits for a left rear tire, which is kind of surprising. Back to lap 37, they jump up a little bit. There's another caution, and then we return on lap 54, and we see Gary Tompkins returning to the track. At this point, Friesen's a lap down, but he eventually gets that back. There's another caution at lap 57 for Kevin Bates. We see T-Mac and Rick Lawbaugh fighting for 4th position at lap 62. Lap 66, Larry White gets a flat. Another commercial break with another insurance commercial and one for the Weed Sport All-Star 100. We're back for action at lap 87. Lap 91, there's a bunch of commotion in turn 2 with cars kind of getting all over the place. Then we see Billy Decker spinning and Jimmy Phelps with a flat. Restart at 94. T-Mac at this point's up to second. Friesen's back in the lead lap. He's up to fifth. We see Bobby Varon getting a flat from the lead. Restart at 99 and T-Mac's leading. And at this point, the weather is coming and they're also about to break. There's a halfway point break where everybody pits. We get a couple interviews from drivers. We see one from T-Mac where he says this track is a tire-eaten place for sure. He doesn't really have a strategy. He plans for the long haul because, he rather plan for the full finish as opposed to, potentially putting softer tires on and having to pit again. There's also a Pat Ward interview. He's in third. Friesen's happy with where he's at. He just wishes his tires had more rubber on them. The video gets shaky here for about a minute at lap 100, but they make a note that it goes away within like 2 minutes. So thank you, video editor. There's a caution at lap 105. The announcers don't know why, and they never explain it. They just, we got a caution, we're not sure, and then we come back at lap 138, just jumping ahead a little bit. At this point, T-Mac and Pat Ward are fighting for the lead in lap traffic. We get another break, and now we're at 33 to go. Danny Johnson has a flat from third place. We're back to green with only 10 to go with T-Mac leading. Pat Ward is trailing, kind of comes and goes as far as making up some ground. But at this point, he's not really challenging for the win, and that's pretty much all she wrote. T-Mac wins this race, $10,000, and they got all 200 laps in. We get yet another insurance ad. Every single member of this practice gets their own commercial in this broadcast. Apparently, the last time T-Mac ran this, the year prior, he didn't even make the race. He said he knew someone would have had to run him over to beat him, but he also knew Pat Ward was going to race him clean. He wasn't going to do that. Like I said, Brett Hearn ends up last. Pat Ward, he's looking very tired and sleepy. The girl goes, "You've had a tough month this year," which I thought that was very funny. And then we see Vic Coffey, who had finished third. He was held hostage in his car because something happened on the cool-down lap, and he had to get towed back, and he was in the car, and they don't explain that at all. And then the final shot is a T-Mac donut, and then the rain showing up at the track. Overall, I enjoyed this. Obviously, as a big block guy, racing itself was a little interesting in the fact that it was such a slicked-off track. You don't see that often in this series. But I think the overall video, again, the fact that it wasn't just the race broadcast itself and there was a lot of other, Northeast short track stuff, I enjoyed that. So what did you guys think?
Yeah, I mean, it was fun.
Yeah, you're not as tuned in as Rob and I with this stuff. So
No, I mean, I think it was tough too, coming after such an absolute barn burner of a race in last week's video to this one that was just kind of, it was whatever. It was kind of uneventful, but I did appreciate, like you said, all the other stuff outside of this race that was included in this video. And like, I also appreciated how region specific it was and the focus on that. That was, neat for someone that's not from that area at all. But mostly I was just living for those insurance commercials. So shout out to Joe, Joanne, Sherry, and Bernie.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah. And shout out T-Mac's blonde hair. It made my day every time he was on the screen.
He has so many shirts, like his shirts in this era, both modified and late models, with New York hardcore on it. And I gotta next time I see him, I gotta ask him about that. Like, was he actually into New York hardcore at all? Was he like into that stuff, or was that just the slogan they used for his shirts?
Could have been.
It could have been.
Yeah, I like what True Love said here. It's cool to see the whole room tied together here of this region. It doesn't even include really where I'm from, the really Northeast stuff, or like the New England kind of modified stuff in Connecticut and all that. But definitely cool to see pavement late models, dirt late models, everything all in one show. And kind of show everybody. It's a video version of a racing paper, which we don't really have that many of anymore. And it's also cool to see this as recent as this one is. We've had these videos on as the video of the week before, and I know that at least Brian and I spent plenty of time on YouTube scouting out the 80s and 90s equivalents of this, but this is from 2010, and I didn't realize that this type of thing was really still happening at that point, where you could have a cable access show or something like that is as high production as this is.
Yeah, I'm curious as to where this aired, because, I mean, like, This Week on Dirt aired on my local ABC affiliate. So I have no idea where this would have been shown.
Yeah. And it's not to say that we don't get this kind of content now, but that's what it is now, is content. It's hyper-specific, it's short form, it's series to series, and there's nothing that really kind of ties the whole thing together, aside from the short track septic tank, of course, on Meet Me at Applebee's. But yeah, a great find. I'd love to track down some more of these and find out more about this show and see how long they made it.
Yeah,
who knows? Maybe they're still on TV. I doubt it, but
I'm definitely going to look more into this for sure. But this week's video of the week, I personally have a very busy next week. I'm going out of town tomorrow, going back home to New York. I will be at either Albany, Saratoga, or Lebanon Valley on either Friday or Saturday. Right now, the weather is not looking great for Saturday, so I'm planning on going Friday, but that could change. But in saying that, I wanted to pick something short and fun. The last few weeks we've gone back to watching actual racing, but this week not so much. We're going to go back to a sitcom, picking one of two. I gave you guys the choice before we started the show. Now you get to actually choose. The choices are Tires from last season, since Tires just debuted their season 3. If you guys aren't Tires viewers, there was an episode last season where Ron White played a drunk former NASCAR champion who made an appearance at the Tires shop, which is an amazing episode. But there's also, the other choice was an episode of Coach. If you guys weren't aware, Coach, Craig T. Nelson, the star of the show, he actually was involved in sports car racing in the 90s a little bit. I had a Craig T. Nelson team shirt in my store at one point. And this bled over to his show where they did an episode where Coach ends up racing sports cars. So which one do you guys want to watch, Coach or Tires?
I'm going to vote for Coach, I think, because I'm going to watch Tires anyway.
Yeah. I feel like I thought about it, and initially my reaction was Coach, but I feel like Tires with the new season coming out might be more relevant, as long as you promise to pick Coach as a video in the future.
Yes.
Because I loved that show as a kid.
Agreed. Yeah.
Yeah, this is we're going to watch both at some point, but all right, now I'm the deciding factor. I'm going to go with Tires just because it is more relevant as far as the new season coming out. So yeah, let's watch Tires. So
nice. But yeah, I agree with True Love. We got to watch Coach at some point.
We will watch both. Coach will be viewed at some point. So we're not going to forget about that, trust me. So cool. All right, we're watching Tires. I forget. I think it's like Misery Has Company or something. It's season 2. It's one of the last episodes of season 2. Obviously, it's not going to be on the YouTube playlist, but it's on Netflix, so just go look it up. But yeah, like I said, I will be in New York this weekend in my home. I will have a race report from either Albany, Saratoga, or Lebanon Valley, depending on which one I go to.
Nice.
What about you guys? Rob, you're going to be in New Hampshire.
Yep.
Doing modified stuff and truck race, and probably not Sunday.
Maybe Sunday. Again, it all depends on, really, the weather is the big factor. I'll definitely be there on Saturday, no question. Again, you can't miss that modified race. It's incredible. And the truck race entry list is pretty stacked as well. 41 cars on the list, including Mike Christopher Jr. driving for Stewie Friesen. So that's pretty cool. Christopher Bell also in a Friesen truck, or a Halmar truck, excuse me. Colin Braun's going to be out there. Remember that guy? And of course, the debut of D.L. Wilson, Brian's favorite boomer.
Why am I tied to this guy? Just as I found him on Twitter.
Yeah, you brought him up. Also, John Hunter Nemechek will be probably sending a Tricon truck into the fence at some point this weekend.
Great. Yeah, I think it's pretty stacked since it's the last race that Cup guys can do.
Yeah.
Yeah, it should be a good show.
Yeah, I'll just be at home living vicariously through the two of you while you're at the racetrack.
Okay.
Deal.
Cool. Well, as always, you can follow us on Instagram and YouTube at Meet Me at Applebee's. I am Speedway Screens and all the things. SpeedwayTSJ.etsy.com is the shop. MMA Applebee's at checkout for 15% off, but I will be running a sale this weekend since I'm out of town, so you won't need to use it.
Perfect. Still Snake Mountain. True love. I don't have anything funny to say. I got nothing.
Nice. Rob Boats _ unofficial on Instagram. Again, going to be at Loudon. Come say hi. Also, real quick before we shut this down, I think we were going to talk about this on the show, but to any of you NASCAR fans who were bitching about the whole Kyle Larson Knoxville thing and really talking down about short track racing and how it's a lesser deal, just want to let you know how fucking incorrect you are about that.
Yeah, we didn't mention that. We talked about it before the show. We didn't really get into it.
Yeah, nothing makes my blood pressure boil higher than that. And again, like, I'm not saying you have to watch it, but I think a level of respect is required. And maybe you'd understand why it's such a monumental thing for Larson to have done what he did. And even more when he loses when he goes to those races. Because the talent level, especially in sprint car racing and dirt late model racing, is incredibly high. So to write these guys off as plumbers and electricians, which maybe they are too. That's a good job. What do you hate working guys? Fuck you. Yeah, have a little respect. Because those guys make a fuck ton of money as well. In fact, I saw a list of earnings so far this year, and there's a lot of 6-digit motherfuckers out there. Basically, anyone you see on your TV on Flow Racing at one of the bigger shows.
Casey Kane.
But not Casey Kane.
Too poor to make the list.
Well, he hadn't run that much either. That's the thing. But after Knoxville, I bet you he's creeping up there a little bit. But yeah, $200,000 to win the Knoxville Nationals, by the way. They're not handing it out to the guy who works the Batteries Plus counter or whatever. So, yeah.
Hey, Steve Park owns Batteries Plus.
No respect to Steve. No disrespect to Steve. By the way, Steve Park doing an appearance on Saturday, I think, up at Loudon. I'm going to go, probably going to go take a look at him, see what he's up to. But yeah, no disrespect to Steve Park. The one fucking chain I pick is the one that Steve Park works for. But
he owns one. Come on, he doesn't work for one. Jesus Christ.
Franchisee. But yeah, mad love to Steve Park, and yeah, don't shit on these guys. See how dumb I sound when I do it? You sound dumber when you do it.
No one's listening to this. We already gave our pumps.
I know. Shut the fuck up and get some pizza logs in the oven.
All right, well, you gave your diatribe. You got any plugs or what?
Oh, no, I'm just going to be at Loudon. Love to see you. Love to see you up there. No, I got nothing coming up except for racing stuff and Claremont and all that. Our season's starting to wind down there. And, yeah, I'll be at Loudon using my vacation from racing to go watch some racing, which will be fun. Definitely going to see some friends out there. And, again, if I don't know you're going to be there, let me know. Let's meet up.
Cool. Well, looks like the check is here. So, as always, thanks for joining us again at Applebee's, and we'll talk to you all next week.